From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting, originating from the County Administrative Center located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue, Bakersfield, California. Kern County's vision is to create and maintain a customer-centered county government designed to garner the confidence, support, and trust of the people we serve. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Okay. Meeting to adjourn. Good morning, Kern County, or meeting is to reconvene, rather, not adjourn. It's going to be a rough day, I can feel it. Okay, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Gleason.
Here.
Supervisor Scrivener.
Here.
Supervisor Maggard.
Here.
Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Thank you. Supervisor Perez.
Here. Thank you. And to Kern County, welcome to the Tuesday, December 15, 2020 meeting of the Board of Supervisors. We will begin today's meeting with the flag salute led by our very own, and for the last time up here, Supervisor Mick Gleason. Following the flag salute, please remain standing for a moment of prayer, silence, or meditation, whichever you prefer.
Please join me in the salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would like to call Mr. Nick Cullen, Director of Animal Services, to come up with our favorite portion of the morning, which is the Pet of the Week. Hello, good morning, Nick Cullen. Who do you have with you today?
This beautiful 4-year-old boy.
Oh my goodness.
If you can see him, he's missing a leg. He's got 3 legs, but he's not weak for it. That's for sure. He's about a 4-year-old Carolina dog, probably a little chow mix, among other things. But he's just an example of. His name is Carlton, by the way. Just another example of a dog that come to the shelter a couple weeks ago that probably would not have survived in our sheltering system just a few short years ago. He came to us injured. He had a broken rear left leg. He was placed into foster care while we hoped that his leg would heal naturally. It did not. And our awesome medical team performed an amputation on him, and just a few short days later, he's pulling me around the county administrative building. But he's available for adoption now. He's neutered and ready to go home, and he's going to be a handful for somebody. Don't let his 3 legs fool you. He gets around just fine. He gets along well with other dogs too, which is cool.
Nick, God bless you and your team. What an incredible delight to see Carlton here with us. We hope you have a wonderful Christmas with a new family, Carlton. I have a good feeling about this one, Nick.
So do I.
Thank you for your hard work. And last week, I understand, we had a reunion with our Pet of the Week and his pet family. Is that correct?
Yeah, his name escapes me at the moment, but the Pyrenees.
Fritz,
the Pyrenees I had last week, his owner came for him the following day, the Wednesday. So he went to his home. He actually had a sibling that was in the shelter too, so the person paid and redeemed both dogs.
Oh my goodness.
Good story.
How nice. Nice reunion. Well, thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas to both of you. We look forward to hearing a good report on Carlton. As we have stated all year, the County of Kern has provided notice that as a result of the declared federal, state, and local emergencies due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and in light of the governor's order, this Board of Supervisors meeting is not physically open to the public. Testimony and general public comment can be given through email or telephone to the clerk of the board prior to today's meeting, and live comments through teleconference will be heard during the meeting. The Board of Supervisors met in closed session on Monday, December 14, 2020, yesterday. County Council will provide a report on any action taken in closed session. Ms. Raizan?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. As you know, your board met yesterday in closed session to conduct department head annual employee performance reviews. However, there is no reportable action from that meeting.
Okay. Thank you very much. We will now consider our consent agenda. All items listed with a capital C, capital A above the item are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the public wishes to comment if a member of the public wishes to comment or ask questions regarding an item, on consent, they may do so prior to a vote being taken on consent. A member of the board may remove any item from consent, and it will be considered in its listed sequence, with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. A member of the public may also comment on any closed session items. Closed session matters, or rather consent matters, begin on page 2, and they include items 2 and 3 and 6 and 7. On page 3, items 8 through 15. On page 4, items 16 through 19 and 21 through 22. On page 5, items 23 through 30. On page 6, items 31 through 38. On page 7, items 39 through 46. And finally, on page 8, items 47 through 51. Madam Clerk, what do we have by way of public comment on our consent agenda?
Madam Chair and members of the board, we do have Emma De La Rosa from Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability. She provided you with written comments that you have received via email, and their hard copy is at your seat. Ms. De La Rosa would also like to address the board and is available in Teams. So Ms. De La Rosa, if you would unmute your phone by pressing *6, you may address the board concerning item number 24.
Good morning, Kern County Board of Supervisors. My name is Emma De La Rosa with Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability. As the surge of COVID-19 cases continues in our county, it is imperative that the board direct funds to the community. The most impacted communities in Kern are faced with the difficult decision of buying food, paying their bills, or paying their rent or mortgage. When the federal government has provided relief funds for people to survive this pandemic and meet their basic needs, there should be no reason why our community should have to decide between food on the table or shelter over their heads. The need to transfer CARES funds suggests that there are funds that have not been appropriated despite the need for relief in Kern County. In addition, during the November 17th board meeting, CAO staff reported a list of county expenses that could be reimbursed with CARES funds, again supporting the assumption that there are available CARES funds to provide relief to current residents regardless of their citizenship status. With this in mind, I respectfully urge the board to address and consider the following. First of all, the staff report attached to this agenda item did not include an approximate amount of funds that may be transferred. Your constituents deserve transparency. Please provide an approximate amount of CARES funds that may need to be transferred during today's meeting. Second, please allocate funds for utility assistance. Although there is a utility shut-off moratorium, the community will need to cover any unpaid utility bills. Providing utility assistance will prevent thousands of current residents from utility debt and the impending threat of utility shutoff. In addition, many families have had to manage the unexpected cost of internet services for distance learning. Third, please allocate CARES funds to purchase food. Folks who do not qualify for the Housing Assistance Program, SNAP, or other programs are making the hard decision of paying for their rent over buying food. I know this because community members have told me directly. Families should not experience hunger in a county where growing food is prioritized. We urge the board to work with community-based organizations to provide assistance such as prepaid Visa cards for families to purchase food. We strongly urge the board to implement these recommendations to provide relief for all current residents regardless of their citizenship status. I welcome the opportunity to discuss and collaborate to ensure everyone in Kern is able to meet the basic needs. Thank you for your time, and I respectfully request that these items be addressed in some manner today during the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your call. I understand, Ryan, good morning to you, that Mr. Zervis is here and can answer some of these questions. Do you have any comments you'd like to make or direct the conversation?
Yeah, Madam Chair, members of the board, we've been incredibly transparent and open with our CARES Act management and funding. Mr. Zerfus will be presenting on one item and will include the consent items in his presentation when he takes that up.
Okay, so he will be presenting today. Mr. Zervis, do you feel you'll be able to answer these questions? If you can just nod in the affirmative if that's the case. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the call. We will address your issues today. What other matters regarding public comment do we have for consent?
No additional public comment on consent agenda items.
Nobody
Although I
waiting
believe
on the phone?
Supervisor Scribner wants to speak.
Okay, but nobody on the phone and no emails to read or written comment.
That is correct.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Scribner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to recuse myself on item number 21 due to a potential source of income to my spouse. And so, Madam Clerk, please record my abstention on item number 21, even though I will vote on the motion to approve the consent calendar. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Item number 21.
Motion to approve.
One moment, Supervisor
sorry.
Maggard. I have a note, Supervisor Gleason. Do you have a no? Got it. It was Zach. Okay. Thank you so much. Supervisor Maggard?
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, and a roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Gleason,
Yes.
Supervisor Scribner,
Aye.
Supervisor Maggard,
Yes.
Supervisor Couch,
Yes.
Supervisor Perez.
Yes, thank you so much.
Motion carried, all ayes.
Okay, we're going to move to public presentations, which is item number 4. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons who wish to address the board on matters that are within the jurisdiction of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. Item number 1, we will not be doing public presentations. We will be doing item number 1, forgive me. I think I'm trying to avoid it at all costs, Mick Gleason, is I think what's going on there.
You run, but you can't hide.
Item number 1 this morning is a resolution honoring Supervisor Mick Gleason for his dedicated and distinguished service representing the 1st District of Kern County. I promised myself I would not cry today.
Madam Chair, we do have public comment on this item, if you would like to hear that prior to the board voting to approve.
That makes sense. I would love to take public comment.
We have Renee Westa Lusk, who would like to address the board concerning this item. Ms. Westa Lusk, if you would unmute your phone by pressing *6, you may address the board.
Hello, Board of Supervisors, and I give a salute to Mick Gleason, my supervisor for the last 8 years. I want to thank you, Mick, for your dedication and your family's sacrifices in having you serve the 1st District, which includes the Indian Wells Valley. I especially thank you and your family, Robin, your children and your grandchildren, for allowing you to take heroic steps and efforts in leading the hard work and challenging circumstances to save what is left and to preserve our potable water supply in the Indian Wells Valley. Our valley will be truly indebted to you for saving our water forever. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and I congratulate you in your retirement. All your work you've done was tremendous, and I can't thank you enough. Have a great retirement. Thank you.
I need to give you a pay raise, Renee.
Okay.
That concludes public comment on this item.
Nice. Well, I think she pretty much wrapped it up, Mick. 1st District Supervisor Mick Gleason was elected to the Kern County Board of Supervisors in 2012 and was reelected in 2016. During Supervisor Gleason's tenure on the Board of Supervisors, the board made contributions to east-west connectivity of the West Side Parkway, ensuring Kern County continues to be an attractive location to industries, and transitioned Kern Medical to an independent authority, thereby addressing a financial burden previously plaguing the county. And overhauled county health insurance programs to save the general fund $10 million. You remember that, Mick? while still offering employees and retirees high-quality health care, and successfully managed a 4-year budget deficit mitigation plan through sound fiscal practices that saved the county from layoffs and upgraded the runway at Meadows Field, ensuring Kern County's airport can service the local large employers, industries, and residents. And Supervisor Gleason significantly championed the Lean Six Sigma initiative, Launch Kern, which has resulted in nearly 180 individual projects, 180 projects aimed at reducing inefficiency and saving money, and has saved the county nearly $20 million and 100,000 hours of staff time, demonstrating his commitment to fiscal responsibility and good business management. And Supervisor Gleason worked tirelessly to find a solution to the Indian Wells Valley water management issues caused by changes from the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, limiting the amount of water that can be pulled from the underground water tables, disproportionately affecting the Indian Wells Valley, and brought together county resources and community members to engage in dialogue and forward-thinking solutions to ensure the future sustainability of the region. Supervisor Gleason represented his district through the 2 largest disasters Kern County has experienced in recent history: the Erskine Fire and the Ridgecrest earthquakes, where he was hands-on every day with the operations on the ground, meeting with his neighbors and constituents to ensure they were supported. Supervisor Gleason worked diligently to bring improvements to his district through additions like the skate parks and dog park in the Kern River Valley, giving children and families additional spaces to engage in recreational activities, as well as supporting Petroglyph Park and Ridgecrest and funding improvements to the county parks within his district. And Supervisor Gleason, recognizing that the Ridgecrest area deserved the same leadership opportunities for their young workforce and other areas of the county, had, founded the first Leadership Ridgecrest program and brought together community leaders and industries from the area that could share knowledge and advice with the future leaders of his community. And after 8 years of outstanding service to the people of the 1st District in Kern County, Mick Gleason is retiring from the Kern County Board of Supervisors. Now, therefore, it is resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Kern, State of California, does hereby honor and commend Supervisor Mick Gleason for his outstanding achievements during a distinguished career in public service. And the board expresses its sincere gratitude and warmest wishes to Supervisor Gleason upon the occasion of his retirement from 8 years of service to the glorious people of Kern County. Adopted December 15, 2020. At this time, we're going to play a video commemorating the remarkable honor, duty, and patriotism of Supervisor Mick Gleason. What do you think about that, Mick?
I've aged.
Oh, one of my mentors in the Capitol has told me that leadership ages you in dog years, as you know. We're going to come to you in a moment, Mick, but I think it would be a good time to hear from our colleagues. We also have Supervisor Couch participating remotely, and we'd love to hear from him as well in just a few moments. But in addition to our county resolution, our Congressman Kevin McCarthy has submitted a congressional record in honor of Supervisor Gleason. Leanne Cook, Supervisor Gleason's Chief of Staff, at this time, will please come forward and read that proclamation.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Honoring Mick Gleason on his retirement from the Kern County Board of Supervisors, Honorable Kevin McCarthy of California and the House of Representatives, December 15th, 2020. Mr. McCarthy says, Madam Speaker, I rise today to recognize Kern County Supervisor and U.S. Navy Captain retired Michael Mick Gleason after 35 years of service to his country and community. Mick is retiring from public service at the end of his current term on the Kern County Board of Supervisors. Mick was born in Nyack, New York, and later moved to Haverhill, which I always say wrong, sorry, Massachusetts, where he unfortunately became a fan of all things Boston, including the New England Patriots. In 1972, Mick graduated from the University of Notre Dame with a bachelor's degree in business administration and enlisted in the United States Navy, beginning a 27-year career serving our country in uniform. In 1999, he furthered his education by enrolling in the Naval Postgraduate School and earned a master's degree in astronautical engineering. During his time in the Navy, Mick became the commanding officer of the Naval Air Weapons Station, NAS, China Lake, located in Ridgecrest, California, which is what led him and his wife, Robin, to Kern County. In 2004, he served as the NAS China Lake commanding officer for 2 years. After retiring from the Navy, Mick decided to continue his public service to our community and successfully ran and was elected to the Kern County Board of Supervisors, being sworn in as the first district supervisor in 2013. Over his tenure on the board, Mick has consistently advocated for Eastern Kern County, touting the importance of the opportunities related to the region's economic strengths and highly educated workforce, fighting to attract more and diversified businesses to the area. But first and foremost, Mick has always been a vociferous advocate for NAS China Lake, knowing that a healthy and robust mission at the base translates to the strength and growth of the Ridgecrest community. He has also helped lead the county response through difficult times, from the Erskine Fire to the July 2019 earthquakes that damaged Ridgecrest and NAS China Lake. And Mick has never shied away from working on controversial but important issues, from strengthening Kern Medical Center to spearheading water conservation in the Indian Wells Valley following enactment of a state law on groundwater sustainability. Over the years, I have valued Mick's friendship personally and as a trusted advisor who always had his pulse on the Ridgecrest and Eastern Kern communities. Using the skills he developed during his time in the U.S. Navy, Mick has always impressed me with his acumen, including his ability to quickly weigh issues, size up impacts to the community, and make a decision that only had one thing in mind, the public interest. And for anyone who knows Mick, once he makes a decision, he doggedly follows through, working to persuade and promote the policy in his trademark accent, a combination of Boston, Kern County, and Western lexicons, with a smattering of military jargon thrown in for good measure, which is renowned throughout our community. I thank Mick for his years of service to our community, both as the commanding officer of NAS China Lake and later as Kern County Supervisor. Although Mick is taking a step back from his role in public service, I am confident that he will continue to lend his time and expertise to many of the causes that he holds dear. On behalf of the people of California 23rd District, I wish him well as he begins this new chapter of his life. I know that he and Robin are looking forward to spending more time with their 3 sons, Wes, Patty, and Jeff, and their families. Sincerely, Kevin McCarthy. I also want to just note one quick thing. Our four local leaders did a joint resolution, Assembly members Solis, Fong, Hurtado, and Grove, in honor of Supervisor Gleason. We also have a flag that was flown over the Capitol, and I thought Mrs. Gleason was going to be here, so there's flowers for her as well. Thank you very much.
Good job, Leanne.
Oh, wonderful. You have been very lucky to have Leanne.
Yeah.
Supervisor Mike Maggard.
Thank you. Hey, Mick, I was thinking about, when I think of you, what comes to my mind? And then I decided to write something else.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
So when I think about you, Mick, this is the stuff I'm going to think about. You always did what you said you would do. I didn't always agree with you, but I always trusted the perspective that you brought with you. You never flinched. You've drawn on experiences that I've never had, and you made us better because of your perspective that you brought. So thank you. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and I want to wish and pray God's blessings on you and Robin and all that you do hereafter. So thank you, Mick.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Supervisor Zach Scrivener.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mick, it's been a real pleasure and an honor to serve with you for the last 8 years. You have served your district and the county faithfully. You always come from the right place when you make your decisions. You're always trying to do the right thing, and you've had a lot of hard issues to tackle. And I've always respected the way in which you go about your business and make your decisions. And so Christine and I want to wish you and Robin the best. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your friendship. And God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate it. Very nice of you.
Supervisor David Couch, are you there?
I am here. I agree with what Mike and Zach just said, Mick, and it's been an honor and a privilege to get to know you and serve with you. I will miss your sense of humor, and if you think you've seen the last of me, you haven't. I'm going to come visit you real soon. So I appreciate, to say I appreciate it is really understates it, but your career in public service is really one to be admired, all the way from your military career and serving on the Board of Supervisors and all of that, but both of those entail. And I just appreciate, your public service immensely. And I'm very proud to have gotten to know you. I'll see you soon. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks for the warning, Dave.
Thank you, Supervisor Couch. Mick, to me, you epitomize the American spirit. Service, duty, and sacrifice. I think of Robin, I think of your family, of the decades of investment into the well-being of this country. I've observed you for at least a decade, and I can attest that you are a good faith player, that you always acted in the interests of the public, and you did it with incredible class and grace. You are a great American gentleman. And you remind us, why our political leadership should really be comprised of great American patriots. Thank you for your service. The floor is yours.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you all. Leanne, good job. I couldn't have done that. I'm glad you did it. Robin couldn't make it today. Robin was trying to get here. She couldn't make it because she had stuff that was going on that was unavoidable, so she sends her best. Thank you all for your honor. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to honor you by sitting here and sharing this dais with four outstanding people that I've come to respect and admire. I think George Washington once said that during his inauguration that it was an honored obligation to serve. And I think frequently we lose sight of that. I think it's morphed over 200 years from being an honored obligation to serve George actually didn't run for office. He was appointed. Matter of fact, they built the whole government around him because he was the man that could lead them. They didn't need a king. They had George. So he described it as an honored obligation, and there's a couple things to be said there. He considered it an obligation to run for office or to serve as president, and I think he meant it was a duty. He was obliged, is a responsibility of his citizenship to participate in the government process. And I think that we lose sight of that sometimes, that it's an obligation of the citizenry to perform for the government. It's a job as being a citizen of this country and a citizen of this county to take an active role at some part of your life to participate and for the government that has blessed you with so much. And it's time for us to give back. And I think that's what George Washington meant when he said it was an honored obligation. It was an obligation. He also said it was an honor. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that fact too. I think we honor our military folks religiously. I mean, we all do it. We all look at our firefighters and our sheriff and our uniformed people who represent us and do God's will for our country, and we say that's an honor. And those people, those military members, they understand that it's an honor, and they perform like it's an honor. And matter of fact, if a Navy sailor walked in here today, right now, and you would ask him, what are the core values of the Navy, he would say, every single one of them would say immediately, honor, courage, commitment, because it's part of their of what they do is service, is honor, courage, and commitment. So George Washington's honorable obligation is not just something citizens need to do and become aware of and participate in, but it's an honor to do that, whether you are a department head, whether you are a managing animal services, or whether you're delivering Meals on Wheels, or whether you're a probation officer. Whatever you do, the citizens of our country all need to recognize it's an obligation to perform something, do something, contribute somewhere, and it's an honor to do that. And the people that do that aren't just bureaucrats, and they aren't just county employees. They're honorable people for doing what they do. And we lose sight today of, we have so much damn politics, and we have so much other things going on that we forget that serving in a government in some capacity is an honor, and it is an obligation, and we should all express that and demonstrate that. And I'd be curious to see if everybody in Kern County knows or has an opinion. I'd be very interested to hear what they think about honor. I'd very much like for the CAO to go out with a questionnaire to all county employees, to his department heads, and say, please tell me what honor is, what honor means to you, and why is that honor important to your service as a Kern County employee? I think being a Kern County employee is an honorable service, and it's an honorable obligation, and we are all, the people here, fulfill it magnificently. They've done a great job. I can't tell you how impressed I am with the team of Kern County, from the department heads to the middle managers to the grunts who are out doing the work. I mean, grunts is a term of affection. People who do the real work. Frequently, I'm amazed at what we've come through in my short tenure, and when I watch the challenges we faced and watched how we have managed those challenges in such a way that provides dignity and honor to who we are as a county. So my hat's off to all those employees. I don't care what you do, whether you're a parks guy, a sheriff, or whatever, it doesn't matter. The honor you bring is critically important to the quality of work and the efficiency and effectiveness of our ability to deliver government services to our public. Being an honorable profession is something we need to re-attain as a county, and we need to lead as Kern County as being honorable service members. So thanks a lot. I very appreciate it. I won't take too much time. I just wanted to leave that little tidbit with you, and thank you all for all your service and all your time and all your contributions. The city of Ridgecrest and the District 1, Kern River Valley, have been serviced well by people like Dave Freeland, Debbie Freeland, Leanne, Gronk, who's going to take over for me. Chainsaw has done a fabulous job, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to work with all of you. Thank you very much.
Well, I'll state it again, Mick. You remind us why our political leadership should be comprised of great American patriots. Thank you for your service to this country, to this county. Thank you for being a good faith player. I always knew what I was getting with you, Mick, and that's honorable. Thank you. We need a motion for this resolution.
Madam Chair, honored to make the motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
I think Supervisor Couch also wanted to second.
Yeah, we have a third as well. I'll fourth that motion, yes. So roll call, please.
Supervisor Gleason.
Aye.
Supervisor Scrivener.
Aye.
Supervisor Maggard. Supervisor Couch.
Yes.
Supervisor Perez.
Yes, I was just giving Mick his motion.
Motion approved, all ayes.
If I could indulge the board to get a couple of photo shots with the supervisor really quickly down here with all the presentations.
I'll take a couple moments for pictures. Gosh, Kathy, I sure got choked up there.
Yeah, should we be like, we'll do one like this. I'm sticking out my tongue. Not really. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen.
Okay, we're going to move to public presentations, which is item number 8. This portion of the agenda is reserved for presentations, comments, questions to the board from the public on matters that are within the jurisdiction of the Kern County Board of Supervisors, but are not on today's specific agenda. So, Kathy, what do we got?
Madam Chair, members of the board, we have Irma Carson, who would like to address the board under public presentations. Ms. Carson, if you would unmute your phone by pressing *6, you have 2 minutes to address the board.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors.
Good morning.
Good morning, Supervisor Perez.
Yes, are you there?
Do you hear me?
I can hear you
I'm
now.
here.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. I'm calling because I'm concerned about the Veterans Hall located at Martin Luther King Park. And it's been there for so long and has served the community so well as area for over 16 years. What I would like to suggest to the board in regard to the Veterans Hall, that you have 2 options I would like to recommend. Number 1, that you make it a historic site. Number 2, or you donate it to the city of Bakersfield so they could maintain the site and it would remain of service to the people and that live in the area and those who represent our veterans. Hello?
Hello, yes, I'm here. Thank you very much, Irma, for your call and for your suggestion. We're working through those matters with the new city councilman at Bakersfield as well, and I think you're a central component to that conversation, so I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you you so much. I hope that you do give it consideration, because I know what it means to the community and for those veterans who are lined that hallway at the Veterans Hall.
Of course.
So thank you for the opportunity to speak to you.
Well, thank you, Irma. Thank you for all your service to that community as well.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, members of the board, we do not have any additional speakers. We did receive one email, and you have that. You received it electronically. You also have it at the dais from Adianka Glover, and it's regarding the same topic.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other written or oral testimony, anybody waiting?
No, that concludes public comment.
Very good.
Public
Okay, we're going to move on from public presentations to board member announcements and reports, item number 9. And under the board member announcements and reports, we'll take our traditional COVID update. Mr. Constantine, it is very nice to see you. You look healthy, which is a good thing. Thank you again for your service, and we look forward to hearing from you this morning. The floor is yours.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Thank you. Unfortunately, today we are announcing what I believe is our single highest day of cases. We have 2,082 cases that we are reporting today, and 1 additional death. Approximately 800 of those cases that we've received today, though, are from prisons or skilled nursing facilities. But it's important to note that cases are rising all around the county. We have seen both residents and staff at our 19 skilled nursing facilities begin to recognize new cases throughout many of our skilled nursing facilities, and as we just mentioned, the prisons too. We've noticed a number of cases. We have 659 positives that we've been tracking over the last few days. This additional number is also concerning. The state did release their weekly metrics for Kern County. Our unadjusted case rate now stands at 66.3. Our adjusted case rate is 58.3, which is good. They're adjusting us downward now. Our testing positivity is at 16.9%, and our testing positivity in our health equity census tracts is 19.6%. So those numbers are concerning. They are clearly very high. We are a factor of 5 or 6 off of where we want to be when we were in the red tier. The state is also now reporting on our ICU capacity, as we've mentioned last week. They've placed all counties into 5 different regions. We are in the San Joaquin region, and they look at ICU rates in a region. And the concept is that we work collectively. We don't have, Kern County is not an island. We have people coming and going, so they look in common geographic areas. So as of today at 12, the state will report that our ICU rate for the San Joaquin region is at 1.6%. Again, if we fall below 15%, that's when the regional stay-at-home order applies to us, so clearly that still applies. And our ICU rate in Kern County is at 4.8%. However, we are discounted down to 0% because of the adjustment that the state places on their calculation of ICU rates. We continue to do a lot of work in those health equity census tracts, those the lowest quartile census tracts in the county. We continue to use reverse 911, the Ready Kern system. We've sent out more than 56,000 mailings to those 35 census tracts. With the CAO's help, we've also completed the distribution of 12,000 gift cards to incentivize testing in those disadvantaged census tracts. We have mobile testing sites that we've established in those census tracts that are active daily. We're at Heritage Park today. We have our canvassing team that remains very active. They're going door to door in those census tracts, talking on an individual level about the importance of preventative measures and the importance of testing. So the efforts to address those high testing positivity numbers in those 35 census tracts is ongoing. Our hospital numbers. So as of December 13th, we have 582 available beds in our 10 acute care hospitals. We have 20 ICU beds available. Using the state's metrics, because they exclude pediatric ICU, they indicate we have 6 available beds if you don't include pediatric beds. We have 292 COVID hospitalized patients within our hospitals and 66 in the ICU. And then finally, on our vaccine, we are expecting our first delivery of our vaccine likely in the next day or two. The state has allocated, based on the proportion of high-risk healthcare workers within each county. Kern is getting our allotment. It will be targeted towards these high-risk hospital employees that have direct contact with COVID-positive patients within our 10 acute care hospitals. That is the number one first target to ensure that we protect them as they try to ensure that we are healthy when we go into the hospital. After we are successful at vaccinating those employees, we will then vaccinate the remaining hospital employees and then our remaining healthcare workers throughout the county as a whole. Also included in that area is our paramedics and EMTs, both from our ambulance companies and our fire departments, dialysis center employees and such. And then we have some other subsequent phases that we're working with the state on that include essential workers and other categories. So it's exciting to know that the vaccine is finally here. We've been talking about it for months. I think at the best, what that does is provide some hope for us. Hopefully, there is an end in sight. It still is likely months away before this has become readily available to us and the mass amount of Kern County residents. But there is movement, and the shipment is, again, supposed to be here in the next couple days. So, Madam Chair, that concludes my prepared comments. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Matt, what is the total, the death total? You said we had one more, but what's the total?
Madam Chair, I'd have to look online.
Okay.
I don't readily have it.
Okay, thank you. I believe that our, the members of our subcommittee, both Supervisors Maggard and Scrivener, ad hoc committee, have some questions. Supervisor Scrivener, is that you punching in first, or should I go to Mike?
That was for the resolution.
Okay,
Madam
got
Chair.
it.
So go ahead.
Got it. Supervisor Maggard, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Constantine, thank you for your report this morning. I'd like to just flesh out a bit of the information. First, with regard to the vaccines that are coming, there's some confusion in the public about how the process works. So when they take the first shot, what is the lag time between that and when the second shot is taken?
Depending on the manufacturer, it's 3 to 4 weeks between the shots.
3 to 4 weeks, thank you. And it's very important if they get the first shot, it's very important that they get the second shot so that the first shot is not squandered by the second shot not being followed up with.
Exactly, yes, sir. And that's going to be obviously managed very carefully. Right now, since it's the hospitals themselves that are assisting in the vaccination, they will track that and understand that very carefully. As this becomes more readily available to us, we're going to ensure that message is very clearly stated and tracked carefully because it's very important.
The first wave of vaccines that are here to us in Kern County, I believe, is 5,850 vaccinations, right?
Yes, sir.
Which means it's not half that amount that will get it because it takes 2 shots. It's 5,850 people will receive the vaccination, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And do we have any sense yet of how the subsequent sets of vaccinations will roll out to us?
We don't have any specifics yet. We expect routine shipments, perhaps even weekly, with hopes that The amount is increased significantly. We have other manufacturers that are getting approved, and those are also now in the mix. So we're hopeful that this is just the start, and there'll be regular, scheduled, anticipated volumes so that we can strategically plan the distribution and the messaging that needs to go out.
Okay, very good, thank you. And I look forward to seeing the smiling, happy faces of those that are receiving the vaccination to assure the rest of us that they're not speaking Russian or something when they've finished taking the shot. Okay, next, with regard to ICU capacity. So you gave us some numbers about 20 ICU beds being available, but is my understanding correct that that number does not include any of the hospitals or the county standing up any of our extra surge capacity?
Yes, sir. So the number of 20 is, including our pediatric ICUs, is available now during normal operating parameters. The hospitals have the ability to surge upwards if the demand is there. There are struggles with that, both on physical space and staffing, but they have the ability to increase that number significantly. Yes.
Significantly, thank you. And I know some people are, as the disease is spreading right now, new people are becoming ill, and I just want to encourage people to make sure if you are ill, you should go seek medical treatment. We have room to take care of you, correct?
Yes, sir. The hospitals remain, they're very active in the management of the flow of patients. They do this on a daily basis, where they have to figure out how to place people in certain areas. This is what they're good at. We do not want to postpone care. The state has allowed the hospitals now to determine when and if they reduce elective surgeries. Hospitals have not yet done that here locally. They're managing it carefully. They're able to quickly make those changes if needed. But when hospitals are fully active and staffed and operating at a high efficiency, that's what we want to maintain. We saw nationwide and even in California when elective surgeries were canceled in large regions, then the hospital had a hard time keeping up with staffing and people were laid off. That's not what we want to happen. So absolutely, we don't want you to postpone any care.
Thank you. And I just wanted to give the public a sense of the kinds of strategies that are being employed for us to make sure that we have adequate staffing. Let's pause there for a second. I think you've made it clear in the past, but could you reiterate about the issue not being beds, not being ventilators, the issue is staffing? Could you flesh that out a little bit?
Yes, sir. So we've recognized early on in the county that staffing was probably our area that we needed to focus on the most. And specifically ICU nurses was the area of weakness for us. So we have continued to make that our top priority. We started focusing on this in April. The state was also, then the state went to different metrics, but we never wavered. That was our issue. We knew that was the area we needed to focus on. Some of the earlier modeling showed that our demand for services would exceed our capacity by a factor of 4 in early 2021. So thankfully, the board made some early decisions to put some money away, and we have some ability to help hire and fund up to 88 ICU nurses, traveling nurses, and some of the hospitals have started to hire. We're actually asking them to hire all that they can in anticipation. We are very competitive on our wages. We have significantly increased the amount of money that the county is willing to reimburse for those services because we know we're competing against other areas, but we are very competitive here. Our hope is that the hospitals hire those nurses. In the best scenario, they're not needed, but they can be used elsewhere in the hospital to provide additional care. But we also then have the alternative care site. Not that that would provide an ICU level care, but it is an area that is accessible and could be used by the hospitals if needed for bed space and additional resources. We also have a mutual aid process in the county. This weekend, Adventist asked for some additional staffing. This is what we track very carefully. We were able to allocate some additional staffing to hospitals. So there is a pretty robust system in place that tracks this carefully. We can redirect resources as needed, and it's being managed well.
I wanted to assure the public that the others are mindful of this. I had expressed some concern about the deadline that exists for us to spend all of the CARES money by the end of the year. It was an arbitrary deadline that was placed when nobody knew how long it would take. Word of that got to Congressman McCarthy's office, and his office called me and asked about that circumstance and said, "How can we help you?" So, they moved on their own to contact me to ask me how they could help us, and there is an effort being made in the next round of funding to push those deadlines out so that, frankly, we're going to spend the money however we have to spend the money to make sure people are taken care of, but they're going to give us, there's an effort being made to help with that. I also wanted to assure the public that that isn't the only thing that we're doing. We are looking at hiring nursing students. We already hire a number of nursing students, but nursing students and what they call patient care partners, PCPs, are an important part of leveraging, they're like a force multiplier to nurses, and we are looking to hire those extra patient care partners and nursing students. We are also exploring asking our legislators to go to the governor to sign an executive order that allows us to change the nursing patient, nurse staff patient ratio with appropriate force multipliers so that they're not just doing more work. They are relieved of many responsibilities so they can focus on the critical care that people need. We are also, we've talked about the surge capacity, we talked about the alternative care site, and we are also pursuing hiring retirees, any retired nurses that might be able to help us supplement the nursing staff we have so that we can then push up those nurses that are trained to be able to do this ICU level of care for people. So I just want to assure the public that every lever we know to pull, we are pulling. And if they have other ideas, they can contact us. We are all ears, wanting to hear every possible idea there is out there of what we can do. So I want to personally thank you for your diligence and your staff's diligence. Ryan Alsop, many others on our staff for their willingness to help us make sure that we've done every possible thing that we can to make sure people are cared for when they need it the most. So thank you. I appreciate your report, and I will defer anything else to my colleague, Supervisor Scribner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Supervisor Maggard. You covered a lot of ground very well there, and so I don't have a whole lot that I'd like to add or ask, but I do want to talk just a little bit more about the ICU capacity and the hospital capacity. These numbers are obviously increasing as far as the number of patients that are in the hospitals, our case rates, et cetera. And so we do take these numbers seriously, but I do think it's important to put some context to the ICU capacity issue, that there are times during the year where you're going to see capacity or the lack of capacity, I guess I should say, at this level. Isn't that true, Mr. Constantine? If you can kind of put this in context and then talk about how these hospitals day to day, they continually manage this type of situation. That's what they do.
Exactly. Supervisor Scribner, I think you heard Russell Judd at our recent press conference announce that this level of activity in a normal flu season wouldn't be unusual. And this is what they're good at. They manage daily crises every day. They have big traffic accidents. They have a number of family members that would get sick. They are good at this. They're really good at figuring out how best to serve the public. This is a little broader of an issue. It takes coordination between hospitals and now the county. But we meet routinely. We talk daily. This is how they operate. And it has been really inspiring to watch how they just deal with these issues as they come up. That's not to say that we're going to always have bed space, but they're managing this well. When we ask specifically what can the county do, they have some small requests, but it's really just to let them do their job and to remain to the side in case there's any smaller needs. And it's been going well so far.
Thank you, Mr. Constantine. I just thought the public should have that reiterated. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Zach, to you and Mike both for your service on the ad hoc committee. And Matt, thank you so much. Mick, do you have anything? Dave, Supervisor Couch, any questions or thoughts you want to add at this time?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor. We're going to move then to item number 20. Kathy, are we all done? Public comment. Leanne, thank you so much for the marvelous way in which you honored our colleague today and in the ways in which you've served and honored that district. You're quite remarkable. You're a lucky man, Mick. Oh, yeah, Philip. Yeah, that's right, Philip. Nice work. Big shoes to fill, Philip. That's right. Okay, item number 20, County Administrative Office, General Services Division. Ryan, I understand you're going to provide a report on a proposed amendment number 3 to Agreement 217-2020. There's a lot here, so I'm going to let you tee it up.
Yes,
Or
ma'am.
Mr. Zerfas.
Mr. Zerfas is going to handle that item for our office today.
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Board of Supervisors. This morning, I want to report briefly on item number 20 and also touch on items 21 through 24, which your board approved on the consent agenda, all also related to CARES Act funding, and also provide some response to the Leadership Council's comments this morning as well. So item number 20 is an extension of the lease for the fairgrounds. So the county leased that fairgrounds in order to provide a location for the alternative care site for COVID patient overflow or use by the hospitals to alleviate hospital bed space for COVID patients. This particular item, that lease, I should say, went through December 30th, 2020, as really did all of the county's CARES Act funded activities. This amendment would extend that lease for another 3 months. So it would take us through March 31st, 2020. And that really is the theme that you're going to see on all of these items we're talking about today that are CARES Act related, are extending these critical efforts that are being made by the county to deal with the COVID-19 crisis through March 31st of 2021. So this item would extend the lease for the alternative care site. Item number 21, which was already approved by your board on the consent agenda, was an item allowing the public health director to amend various agreements with hospitals and a company called Right Sourcing. That is the agreement that provides for the county's ability to provide that ICU nurse staffing that's been discussed through March 31st of 2021. So this, again, extends that provision, allows us to continue to fund those ICU nurses for the next 3 months and to help alleviate the issues that we're seeing in impact in the ICUs. I will say that this is a very competitive marketplace. It's taking quick action and additional resources in order to try to secure those nurses that appear to be in very high demand. And we are seeing daily that the rates for those nurses that market demand is increasing on a very quick pace. So we are working with the hospitals and encouraging them to secure those nurses as quickly as possible. And we're responding and trying to make sure that we're competitive and using these CARES Act funding in order to be competitive and make sure those nurses are available. Item number 22, also on the consent agenda, was an extension of the temporary isolation units, the TIUs. So these are the trailers at the fairgrounds that are being managed through an agreement with Kern Medical, and Behavioral Health is providing some of those wraparound services as well. These are the trailers that are used to provide isolation for either for homeless individuals that are either COVID positive and needing to isolate for recovery or symptomatic and awaiting test results. So that is an important component in our ability to take those individuals out of the hospital setting, try to make sure they're not in our congregate shelters, whether it's the cities or the county or other shelter situations, and give them a place to isolate on their own and recover. So this again would extend that agreement, or did extend that agreement with Kern Medical to provide for those TIUs to operate for an additional 3-month period. Believe it or not, that agreement will have gone for a full year. So we've been working on this now for, actually through that amendment, it will be actually a 12-month amendment that or agreement that we've been working on to provide that isolation space. And it really shows the length of the pandemic that we just continue to deal with. Item number 23 is an extension of the mortgage assistance program. So this is actually an item that was referred to or really relates to some of the issues that the Leadership Council raised on their call. As you're aware, the city of Bakersfield and the county both engaged in mortgage and rental assistance programs using some of our nonprofit providers. We're engaged with the Housing Authority, and CAPK are both partners in the delivery of that program. Those funds, we still have funds available. In fact, at the end of the calendar year, we're estimating about $1.8 million of funds still being available for that program. And so we are going to continue to, this amendment would continue that agreement through March 31st, 2020 to make sure that needed housing assistance and rental assistance, mortgage assistance, continues to be available for the community. I know the Leadership Council has mentioned several times the need for utility assistance. And your board has heard that there are some other options out there for that. Although that's not an activity that we're directly funding, we do know that CAPK does have a program that does fund utility assistance, and that has funding available as well. So as long as the individuals in need are going through this program, they'll be able to inquire both about utility assistance through some of the CAPK programs, as well as housing, that mortgage and rental assistance through the county's programs. And finally, item number 24, which is the temporary authorization for budget transfers related to the coronavirus. And this really was the item that the Leadership Council had submitted their letter on. I will say that this item is simply needed for year-end reporting. So currently, the CARES Act expires, the deadline for that expires December 30th, 2020. And with that comes a whole host of reporting that we have to do to the federal government. We've been doing it on a monthly basis. And this is the next round of reporting. There are several bills in the works, or at least 2 bills in the works that would amend that date and push it out further. But in preparation for that reporting, what our office needs to do with the Auditor Controller's concurrence is to be able to move buckets around within the reporting categories so that we can accurately report on the activities to the federal government for the purpose of the CARES Act. We're not asking to transfer money that we then turn around and go spend on anything. This is simply needed in order to balance the different activities we're currently engaged in so that we can report on those to the federal government. If the date gets extended, which we really expect that to happen for all of the CARES Act, then those budget transfers likely won't be needed because the activities will just continue to go on and be funded post-December 30th, which are all the activities we continue to talk about. So I would like to touch on this issue of transparency and remind you and the board that anything that has to do with the utilization of CARES Act funding has always been brought before your board in public session for discussion. We've provided routinely utilization plans and updates to that plan to show specifically what activities are being funded and what activities proposed to be funded with the use of those funds. Not only have we done that here, but that information has been publicly available and been the subject of more than one newspaper article here locally and picked up by the media. So I feel like our transparency on how this funding is getting utilized has really been at the highest level, and we're committed to continuing to do that and making sure that information is publicly available. So really, buying food is one of the other items that came up as mentioned as a need by the Leadership Council. Your board, with the use of these funds, has provided food to those that are really at primary risk of COVID, or in high risk, I should say, and that being the over 65 population, being able to receive food delivered to their homes through a program that we've been running since about June with CAP-K. So that is in addition to the other normal food distribution options that are out there, such as food banks and the other state-run programs. I will just say that although $157 million is a lot of money, and that's the amount that the county received in CARES Act funding, all of these things we're talking about are expensive. They're all needed. And that funding was provided not just to provide direct aid or support to the residents of the county, but also to deal primarily with dealing with the pandemic within the county. So the things that we're focused on, the things that you're hearing about now, are going to require continued funding past year end. Things like ongoing maintenance and payment for testing sites, which have been paid for by the federal and state government. That burden is shifting to the county. So we need to be prepared to pay for those sites. The ongoing contact tracing, facilitating the vaccination distributions, continuing to fund the things that we're doing like mortgage and rental assistance and support for the public's important, but the ICU beds, the testing, supporting public health efforts and dealing directly with the costs of the pandemic, that is really the focus right now of what those funds are being used for. I'd be happy to answer any questions on this topic or item number 20, which was the item before your board right now.
Thank you, Jim. Colleagues, do you have any questions at this time? Supervisor Couch, I'll just assume that you'll contact Kathy or me if you want to chime in rather than me continually asking you. Okay. Jim, I don't see any, no problem. Ryan, did you have some? Nope. Okay. Jim, please continue.
That's all I have on this topic.
Okay, then don't continue.
Thank you.
I'll continue. How does that sound? Okay, Kathy, it does not look as though we have colleague input. Do we have any public input?
We do not have any public comment on this item.
Okay. Well, it looks like we are ready then for action. And of course, again, thank you for the expertise on the tedious, not terribly exciting, but uber important aspects of what we're doing. Thank you, Jim, for making them relevant and user-friendly.
Motion on staff's recommendation.
Thank you, Mac.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll, Kathy.
Supervisor Gleason.
Aye.
Supervisor Scribner.
Aye.
Supervisor Maggard. Supervisor Couch.
Yes.
Supervisor Perez.
Yes.
Motion carried, all ayes.
Okay, well, that brings us to the end of our morning agenda. We're going to adjourn to closed session at this time to consider under CAO items 52 and 53, and under County Council items 54 through 57. Mick Gleason, thank you for your adjournment motion.